Though, a company that has long billed itself as the preferred alternative to major hotel chains is suffering a setback of its own. 1 year after the Airbnb boom of 2022, experts are predicting a potential bust. Two major data firms, it's All the Rooms and then AirDNA, agree the company's revenues per listing is falling. But as you can see, they can't agree on how much. All the Rooms claims this year's revenues per listing went down 40%. AirDNA, a drop of only 3%. Either way, it's going down, and both firms agree the Airbnb business model might be in trouble. Some real estate experts, and I don't want to, cause undue fear here, but they say an implosion could cause something like the 2008 market crash. That's a big claim. So let's bring in real estate investment expert Toby Mathis tonight. Okay, so we don't want to be alarmist at all. Tell me, Toby, what is happening? Airbnb, it was a phenom. What's going on?
Actually, not much is going on. It's still a phenom. It's up 70% year over year, 40% year over year, and 30% year over year in the last 3 years. And so what you're seeing is a little bit of a just a leveling out. So it's like a jet that's at 30,000 feet and leveling out. It's not coming out of the sky. It might go down to 29,000 feet, depending on who you're listening to, but it's not what they're saying, this massive decline. You are seeing in certain markets some fluctuation, but by far, that's not what the average is. The average is probably going to be down maybe 3%, 1 to 3%. I think Airbnb itself is saying down maybe 2%, but that's after these monstrous increases. And just to put it in perspective, let's just say that you did sell all of the short-term rentals. There's about 1.2 million in the United States based off the data that I've seen. If you just sold them all, it would barely put a dent in the demand in our marketplace. And just to put it in perspective, in 2010, when we had the real crash, there was 3 million foreclosures. Right now we're on pace to do 130,000 foreclosures this year. No, we're not going to have a crash. This is clickbait.
Hey, Toby, when you said 70%, what is that market cap? What number is that?
That's revenue year over year. So Airbnb gets its money off of its bookings.
So I don't know about you. I find myself kind of gravitating toward Vrbo now. Airbnb checkout involves these mile-long lists. You got to fluff the pillows and do the dishes, and you have to mow the lawn before you leave. It's like, is it just too much? Do they need to scale that back if they want to keep people coming back?
I don't think so. I think the numbers are showing that there's a strong demand for it. It is an alternative to hotels, and some people with families, for example, need the Airbnb, or if you want to have your own stove and kitchen. But you got to remember, Airbnb isn't just single family homes. This is a lot of times it's a vacation condo, or it's a room in somebody's house that they're renting out. This isn't apples to apples when you look at the market. But regardless of what's going on, you're not going to see it have a dramatic impact on the marketplace. What we have right now is a lack of inventory and huge demand. The United States, depending on who you look at, you can look at Freddie, Fannie, U.S. Realtors, it's between 5 million and 7 million units underbuilt. This wouldn't even have a dent on the total economy. This is just somebody who did this last year. It's the same group that's predicted the housing crash in 2022 and the last spring and was saying we're going to have this monstrous crash just like 2008. Same people doing the same thing, getting the same result, which is millions of people, anxiety and fear, and clicking on their stuff on Twitter.
I see. If I ever need a hype man, I'm hiring you because, you came in with the data and you're saying this is clickbait. So I got you. You're saying this is not going to, be a catastrophic event for the housing market. Okay, if that is the case, then, Toby, who do you feel like is primed to really take off at this moment? Do you think hotels are making that comeback, or do you think Airbnb, Vrbo, that they still are in the stronger position here?
I think you saw a huge pop back from the pandemic, and we're seeing what should happen, which is you have this pent-up demand and you're seeing it pull back. So I think both are equally poised because they're very different products. But I think that travel as a whole, that people are still going to do it unless the economy breaks. So we're looking at the recession, you will see a pullback. But if anything, you have really strong demand for both, and you might have too much inventory in certain marketplaces. And I just want to put in perspective, in Phoenix, for example, they saw this massive drop that they used from All the Rooms. And by the way, it wasn't the average. They just used like the top 10 markets are having this huge decline. And I think it was 37%. you were right around $3,000 a month for an average home if you were on Airbnb in Phoenix. And that's a pullback from 5,500. So people are like, oh my gosh, it's horrible. But compare that to an average rental in Phoenix is about $2,000 a month. So like these people aren't going to be forced to sell their homes. They may just not be making quite as much money.
Gotcha. Toby Mathis, tax attorney and real estate investment expert. Appreciate that. Just ahead.